In this module, we'll look at why you need to prepare for an appraisal meeting, and even why a spontaneous informal meeting still requires some forethought. There is a maxim that we learn by our mistakes, and we've all made at least one or two in our lives. So whilst the following is exaggerated, you should be able to recognise where the manager and the individual are going wrong.
Hi Sam, what can I do for you?
It's 2 o'clock. You wanted to go through my appraisal?
I do, yes. Is that today?
Yeah, today at 2. You sent me a meeting notice about a month ago.
Right, yes, right, okay. Well, come on in, sit down. Your appraisal's right here. I'm not as disorganised as I thought. Now, I think you have had a pretty good year. How do you feel you're settling in the new team?
This is my 2nd year with the team.
2nd year? Doesn't time fly? How are you getting on in your 2nd year with your team?
You mean apart from half of them not talking to me?
These things happen, don't they? Would you like me to have a word?
No, it's fine. I'll deal with it.
That's great. That is great. That's just what I expect from you. Thank you. Well done. Apart from that, how are you getting on?
Suppose I have had quite a good year. I was pleased with the way I dealt with...
Hello? Hi. No, I'll be up there in just a minute, about 10 minutes. I'm just dealing with a minor admin issue here. Thank you. Sorry about that. I've got a meeting in 10 minutes, but we can get your appraisal done by then. Well, I'm happy with your work. I don't have any problems, do you? Good. Let's go through your objectives. Let's have a look here. Good. You did miss that objective on meeting the project deadline.
You cancelled it. You said it wasn't worth pursuing.
Did I? I did, didn't I? Well, you weren't on track anyway, so there's no harm done.
Oh, I was ahead and
yes,
I wanted...
but it wasn't going anywhere, Sam.
I learned a lot.
Oh, well, that's good. Every cloud has a silver lining. Now, as I said, I'm very pleased with your performance, and I think we can move on. What about next year? What would you like to do?
Actually, I wouldn't mind some formal training in project management.
Mm-hmm.
I found the work really stimulating, but I think the lack of technical knowledge might have held me back. I'm sure I could use it to good effect in the team projects.
Well, I'm afraid we've got no money for that, so that's not going to be possible. What we could do as an alternative is you could get a manual. See how we got on with that. I mean, obviously, you wouldn't have to buy it. You could get it from the library.
I'm not sure that's going to work.
Well, let's try it, and we'll see. What about objectives? Have you thought about your objectives?
No, not really.
Well, you should. Objectives are very important. Why don't you go away and think about something that might help you? Don't make it too much, because then it's unachievable and there is nothing worse. So you have a think about that, forward it to me, and I'll agree it.
Okay.
How's home? How's your partner? How's all that?
We split up 3 months ago.
Of course you did. I'm sorry, I forgot about that. Well, these things happen, don't they? You know, they happen. Onwards and upwards. In fact, the same thing happened to me a few years ago. I was absolutely devastated. I mean, my work fell to pieces. I lost my home. I didn't understand it, you know. And do you know what he said? He said that I don't listen. Me, I don't listen. Can you believe that? Excuse me. Hello?
Not a well-prepared manager, but individuals being appraised can be just as difficult.
Sam, thank you for coming in. I would like to spend this time today going through the work that you've done so far, and then we can look at your challenges and your goals for the future.
Yeah, okay.
Well, I've scheduled in 40 minutes for this meeting, and I don't have anything in my diary straight after, so if we overrun, that's fine.
My last manager only took about 10 minutes.
Well, I think we're going to have to spend a little bit more than 10 minutes. After all, this is about you, it's about your career, your development, and where you would like to go from here.
I'm quite happy where I am. I don't want to move.
It's not about moving, Sam, it's about looking at your role and seeing how you can improve.
Why? Am I doing things wrong?
No, it's not. It's not about doing things wrong. It's just that the business is constantly evolving and we need to adapt ourselves to meet that change. You see, how we work 5-10 years ago, it's not the same now. We always have to move on. The way you work, the way that I work, our skills, they're changing. This meeting has to look at the work that you have done and how we could improve your performance in the future.
Okay, suppose you're right.
Have you brought any documents or anything you'd like me to have a look at? Anything you'd like me to comment on?
No?
Anything that you would like to raise in this meeting, and I'll make sure that we discuss it.
Not really.
Okay. All right, well, we've spoken in the year about whilst you could be more engaged with your team. We have spoken about this before, that you feel that things are going all right. Do you still feel like that?
Yeah, I'm happy enough.
Mm-hmm. Well, you completed the objective to relocate the team and it seemed to go well. And the feedback that I had was quite positive. It was on time and within budget, so I would genuinely like to say thank you and well done for that. How do you feel it went?
Okay, I suppose.
Did you learn anything? Anything you could have done better?
Not really.
Okay. What do you think went well?
Team showed up on time. Moved their personal stuff when I asked them to.
Did you give them a document or did you give them a handout regarding the move?
No.
How do you think the staff felt about that, doing a move without having a document to refer to?
I was there.
Mm-hmm. Do you think you could have communicated a bit better, Sam?
No, it all went okay.
Mm-hmm. Just because it went okay, it doesn't mean that the staff didn't have any questions. Do you understand that?
I suppose so, but I was always there to ask.
Yes, but what would have happened if you hadn't been there to ask? What would have happened if you had been ill or unavailable?
I didn't think about it like that.
Yes, didn't think about it like that. Well, we can take this on and try and improve that for the future. Is there anything you would like to improve in the future?
Not really.
Have you thought about the way that you work? Have you thought about your skill set? Have you thought about any skills you have that you might want to refresh?
No, none really.
None. Okay. What goals do you have? What would you like to achieve?
I just want to do my job. I don't want to achieve anything. I just want to come in, do a day's work and then go home.
This is about you. This is about your career. Do you understand that?
Examples there of how not to engage in the appraisal process, but elements of which are familiar to just about everyone. In the next film, we'll be looking at the preparation, but before we do so, let's look at what each of our participants got wrong. The manager clearly did not plan for the meeting. She did not set aside time, use a suitable venue, or even create a space conducive to a discussion. She failed to understand or plan for what they needed from the meeting and what areas of discussion were required to assist her in making a valued judgment on performance. She failed by not having up-to-date knowledge of her staff or by consulting with others on performance and ignored issues within the team that could and should have been taken forward. She failed to pick up on the domestic or personal issues that may impact on performance at work. With regard to the role of the individual, whilst it was clear that they knew in advance the date and time of the meeting, she clearly failed to prepare. She showed no understanding of the appraisal process or her role within it. She was disengaged from the process, merely wanting to retain a status quo. In both cases, the meeting was out of balance, which in turn leads to frustration and a lack of confidence in the appraisal process. The conversation is the most important part of the appraisal, but without preparation on both sides, the conversation and thus the appraisal become meaningless. A lack of challenge, direction or development opportunity results either in an underperforming individual or someone who will eventually leave the team or organisation entirely. Poor appraisals by a manager can also affect the wider team. If there is no leadership, motivation or direction, or a manager is seen as being reluctant to challenge poor performance, resentment between those perceived to be lazy or ineffectual and those trying to remain motivated will lead to underperformance within the team. Likewise, senior line managers who are unwilling to challenge subordinate line managers will ultimately have a detrimental effect on their staff, leading to a lowering of morale and performance, but possibly across a far wider area than a single team. Whilst an appraisal is about the individual, for all managers, the appraisal is also about strong, visible leadership in motivating and directing their staff. So to summarise, the key areas are: an appraisal is easy to get wrong, and in doing so can have an impact far beyond what is said in the room. Both the line manager and the individual must plan what they want to discuss. Time and a suitable venue are required to achieve a meaningful discussion. Information should be drawn from all sources, not just personal knowledge. It is an opportunity to show leadership